Good afternoon everyone. I'm in Hertfordshire again, doing a 6.5 mile walk from 50 walks in Hertfordshire. We're in the very old town or village of Ashwell, and I'm joined by my mate Hambo.
Oh.
You may remember him from the Mersey group wild camp that we did on Mersey Island in Essex a few months ago now, I think. And yeah, today it's just us two. The weather's pretty bad, as you can see by all the waterproofs and stuff. We've forecast a bit more rain, some winds, although I think it's going to die down a bit. I'm using the little microphone again. I've tested it out this time, so should be okay. We're going to do a little wild camp, hopefully, and we've got all our stuff on our backs. There's the remains of, I think, an Iron Age Hillfort called Arbory Banks on Newnham Hill. It's not the highest of hills, of course it is Hertfordshire. This area is not the most hilly. And yeah, Iron Age Hillfort. Hambo has wrecked it, and it turns out that it's owned by the farm, and I think they've got cattle and a bull grazing in it, so he's found a little copse of woodland really close to it, and we're going to try and hopefully camp there. We just passed the 3 Tons pub where we had a half a cider just a few moments ago. And yeah, so we're just heading through Ashwell now. I'll tell you about the history of the place as we go. Should be a fun one despite the weather. So enough talking, let's get walking. But we are heading towards the parish church, where, if it's open, fingers crossed, there's some really interesting graffiti in there, apparently from the Black Death. So it wouldn't be Tom Outdoors if we didn't go and check that out. Lovely bit of history. So you know the score. Let's go through that door. The tower is an immense piece of work. At 176 feet or 54 metres, it can be seen from miles around, with its 3 stories, massive angled buttresses and crowning Hertfordshire spike spire. One of the most moving things on this entire walk is the graffiti on the north wall inside the tower of St Mary's Church in Ashwell. High up the wall is a graffito inscription in Latin, which translated says, "The first plague was in 1349, and lower down a more desperate one, miserable, wild, distracted, the dregs of the people alone survived to witness 1350, while the last in the series refers to a great storm. At the end of the second plague, a tempest full mighty this year, 1361, St. Maur thunders in the heavens." The graffiti bear a remarkable witness to the Black Death, the bubonic plague spread by fleas that swept into England from the continent and Asia in 1348. It was devastating, particularly as the harvests have failed repeatedly since 1314, and already large areas were unploughed. It is thought that a third of the population died in the first outbreaks. No one was immune. The Abbot of St Albans, Michael of Mentmore,
and 47 of his monks died of the plague in April 1349 alone. The scrawlings give an awesome insight into the state of mind of Ashwell's residents, but the January storms, which did great damage and would have seemed to be the final blow, probably cleared out the plague for a while and gave the community a chance to recover. There are other equally interesting pieces of graffiti, including a 15th century drawing of old St Paul's Cathedral in London, and elsewhere in the church one by a bitter mason or builder, which translates, "The corners are not pointed correctly, I spit." Ashwell itself is an interesting village. There is a museum in an early 16th century timber-framed building originally built as the local estate office for the Abbey of Westminster, which owned the manor until 1540. Ashwell was a market town and one of 5 in the county recorded in the Domesday Book.
We've passed through Ashwell, had a look in the church and stuff. That was incredible. Very old village. And we're heading up to Arbury Banks Hillfort, ancient monument, whatever you want to call it. I've got a little surprise in my rucksack. It's a new acquisition. I've bought some camouflage scrim netting. So we're going to set up and we're going to sort of cover the shelters with that, and probably have a section that I've cut up to sort of cover sort of the cooking area from view. Yeah. So bear with me. I'll explain it all sort of when you see it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it works. Apparently tonight there's a fireworks display on nearby. It could keep a lot of people away. So with the bad weather as well, you know, in this sort of time of year, I doubt we're going to see too many people along the footpath near where we're camping. So we'll see how it goes, yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to try out this scrim netting. It's going to be a bit interesting. I've no experience with anything like that before, so you'll have to bear with me and we'll just see how it goes. It's all good though, it's just fun to be out, really. Win, lose or draw. Right, I'll come back to you when we're at Arbury Banks.
Arbury Banks is one of a series of Iron Age Hillforts on the Hertfordshire chalk scarp from Hexton to Royston. They probably originated in the late Bronze Age, 1000 to 800 BC, but are likely to have been given the form we see today between 800 and 500 BC. Arbury Banks is about 12 acres in extent and roughly oval in shape. It takes the name Arbury, meaning earthen fortification, from the banks built with the soil excavated from a ditch that encircled the fort. There were probably 2 entrances into the hill fort, to the south and the north. The one to the south, much widened, can still be seen in the gap between the banks. Aerial photographs show circles that were structures within the banks. These were probably houses, stockades for animals, or pits used to store grain. What appears to be an Iron Age Roman field system lies outside the banks. We do not know what hill forts in general, and Arbury banks in particular, were used for. They may have been defensive, and the people who lived near the fort could have retreated behind the banks when threatened. However, the banks might have created an enclosure for domestic animals, a place for keeping valuable food resources, or for rituals and ceremonies. Arbury Banks was probably the focal point, status symbol and power centre for a local tribe, used as a fort in times of danger, but at other times used to store valuable things such as corn.
We're just by the perimeter fence of Arbury Banks Hillfort, and yeah, you can see in there the cattle and the bull as well, and there's a tractor just parked there. The information signs, so I'll just clean the lens, that's it. The information signs there, very informative. We followed the public right away, but of course clearly we can't wild camp there. There probably is a low part of the fence, but why would you want to? There's a bloody bull in there, and it's all private land. But that is the hill fort itself. So I wish we could camp in there. I mean, if there wasn't cattle and livestock and tractors and stuff, and the fence was a bit lower, we'd probably chance it. But you're either going to get in trouble with a farmer, or you're going to just get killed by a bull. So unfortunately, it's not a hill fort wild camp as such, but it is near one. Hopefully, we're going to look for this little copse that Hambo scouted out earlier in the week and pitch up in there, because it is getting really dark. It looks light on the camera, but it's not. It's getting dark and gloomy. We're due some more rain, we believe, and it is pretty windy. It's quite high up, there's some good views. You can see some mounds and stuff here. I don't know if this is part of the earthwork, the rampart, or whether there's barrows and stuff, remains of structures and stuff within the compound itself. But it's something like 12 acres in size, like oval shape. Amazing.
In 1859, Arbury Banks was investigated by Joseph Beldam, a local lawyer, archaeologist and slavery abolitionist. Beldam found that the banks were about 3 to 5 metres high and 11 to 13 metres apart. He found that the original ditch was about 5 metres deep, some 6 metres wide at ground level and 1 metre wide at the bottom. He also found that the ditch had continued around the eastern side, where it has now been ploughed out. He also discovered the exact location of the northern and southern entrances. There are circles within the hill fort where Beldam's excavations in 1859 revealed animal bones and pottery fragments.
So this little copse woodland just in front of Hambo here is where we're hoping to get away with a little camp or stealth camp. And then if I just pan you round, there is the start of the hill fort. This is the bank, the remains of the ditch, earthen ramparts. I mean, it's not very impressive now, of course, because it's over time, it's eroded, it's flattened down, it's worn down. The cows have munched on the grass. It's not going to be as high, of course, but it is a hill fort still, and the views are still quite amazing. It's a very sort of flat area anyway. It doesn't, it's not steep, but this is still like the highest area around here for quite some way. So it still would have commanded, far-reaching views really in Hertfordshire, this part of Hertfordshire. It's just not as, I know, impressive as some of the other hill forts I've been to, granted. Okay, we've entered the woodland, or copse if you call it. It's a little bit wider and denser than I thought, which is good. The wind is coming from behind me apparently. There's two footpaths kind of either side of this copse. The one behind us is the one we're most concerned about because it runs flush with it. So we've moved as far away from it as we can. And then the other one is behind the camera, but that actually goes off sort of the opposite way. So anyone walking along it would actually have their backs to us and over sort of that way a bit. So yeah, we should be okay. So I've got my Lomo 3x3 metre tarp and my Alpkit Hunka bivvy bag with me tonight. Nice stealthy green colours. Even got my green hat on. And everything else is more or less dark. So I'm going to try and set up in this clearing here. All will become clearer in a bit. Hambo has got his Vango Blade 100, which is a tent I used to own. It's a good little tent. That's green as well. And he's going to sort of set it up just over here to the kind of my right. So we've got some scrim netting that I got on Amazon, I believe, and I bought 6 metres by 1.5 metres. It was about £16, woodland colour, and with the help of my old Dot, we cut it up on the living room floor into 3 2 metre by 1.5 metre sections. So this is it. A few of you, if you've served and stuff, have probably seen scrim netting before. We're going to have a piece each to go over our shelters, of course, and then I'm going to try and hang sort of a bit just in front, sort of behind us here, where that footpath is over that way. The footpath is probably 20 metres from us, I don't know, so we're a bit close to it. Apologies, there's an aeroplane flying overhead. Yeah, so we'll sort of set that up. I mean, the light isn't going to help, of course, but hopefully we're not going to see anyone now, and if we do, they're going to have lights, so we'll see them coming, if you get what I mean. Anyways, enough waffling, let's get setting up. Okay, I don't know what time it is because we've not really been keeping an eye on it, but we're set up in this little bit of copse or woodland just at the back of it. Here's where we're going to be sitting. If the rain continues, probably not for long. We are sheltered from some of the rain though, being in the trees, so we've each got some fold up chairs. Here's my Lomo 3x3 metre tarp. I've set it up like a tarp tent. I've got my head facing at the door end because I think there's a slight slope here, so I don't want to be upside down all night. The footpath is way over there. Now, of course, I should address the elephant in the room. This is, or in the woods, shall we say, this is the camouflage scrim netting. So I cut it up into 3 sections, 2 metres by 1.5 metres. Now, I will welcome constructive criticism because I'm sure some of you out there know how to use this stuff. I don't. So get in the comments with any advice, like I say, as long as it's constructive criticism. Okay, I'm not Action Man, I don't know what I'm doing, so I've just winged it and I've stretched it out sort of on 2 sides around my tarp because it was a bit difficult trying to stretch it over the tarp. Probably shouldn't have cut it up. And then Hambo here has got his Vango Blade 100, cracking little tent. It doesn't need to guy it out, by the way, so what we've done is, if I step over this bit, this is the side that's going to be facing the path, so we've sort of covered the back end of his tent with the scrim netting. We could probably stretch it out a little bit more. I've just sort of joined it there in the middle, and yeah, you can kind of see sort of the shape of our camp here with this tree in the middle. The noises you can hear in the background of banging, that's a fireworks display going on over that way somewhere. There's a local one closer to here that's going to be starting up soon apparently, so yeah, it could sound a bit like downtown Baghdad in a minute, but we've got the scrim netting for it anyway. All we need is some sandbags and like a couple of mortars and a machine gun, you know, and yeah, it'll look like an outpost or something, I don't know, but it feels very cool. It feels very like Boy's Own Adventure doing this, I'm not going to lie. It's the inner kid, you know. Oh, I've got the Alpkit Hunka bivvy bag to this side of the tarp. I've got my usual Tyvek ground sheet, which is pre-cut silver foil sort of ground sheet as well, and then I've got a Quechua decathlon, in other words, silver foam mat that I fold up and put down the back of the rucksack. Alpkit Hunka's on top of that. I don't know if it's the XL or the standard. I've never actually found out, but it fits me fine, but then I'm not exactly tall. I've got my army softy trousers in there, my usual OEX Helios down sleeping bag. It's a 3-season bag. It's very warm and comfy and lightweight at about, I want to say 850 or 800 grams. I don't know, it's under a kilo, I know that. I've got, let's open the bivvy up. Haven't got a bug head net with me tonight, so hopefully we don't get any bugs in here. I've got my new Quechua pillow, inflatable, it's nice. And I always bring the Thermarest stuff sack pillow, so you just turn it inside out. That's the brushed fleece kind of pillow side, and then you turn it back in the other way, and it's got like a kind of a, I don't know if it's a water resistant outer coating, and you can, you know, stuff spare stuff in it and clothes and that. It's Cordura fabric, so it's sort of got that material on the outside of it. Yeah, and I've just got like down jacket, thermals, Arctic socks, stuff like that in it for now while I don't need them. It's not actually that cold really. It's more just sort of short gusts of wind and rain really. I've also got my OEX Evolution fulcrum pad. I tend to find the fulcrum pads better than the Traverse for bivvies, just because, you know, with the bivvy you're kind of enclosed in it, so the mat doesn't slide around as much. You don't slide off the mat as much because you've got nowhere to go in the bivvy. Whereas if I put it in a tent, I tend to find I slide about and I fall off it in the night. So that's why I take the Traverse for the tents, the fulcrum for the bivvy. I've just found that's what works for me, you know. My Haze Outdoors mat I'm kneeling on, I've got that set up. It's just a what do you call it, Thermarest Z-Lite that I've cut down, cut the bottom 4 bits off because I don't need a mat that long, because as I say I'm not that tall, and it's great for kneeling on and sitting on. It just gives you a bigger area really than a normal little kneeling pad that you can buy. And then right over the back here, which you probably can't see, you probably not, but yeah, just over the back here I've got all my food, cooking gear, and where I've tucked the tarp under itself, I've just laid my rucksack in like a waterproof rubble sack. Inside that I've just laid it on top of that, and sort of all the spare bits and bobs that I don't need, you know, things like stuff sacks and sort of bits for the tarp and things like that. It is my old Lomo 3x3 metre tarp, and if you watched my Halloween video, you'll remember it's leaking. So it's not the best, but it's doing alright. I mean, there's a couple of little drops I can see running down, but we're alright. You know, the sort of relatively covered by the trees, and it's sloping down, so it should just run straight off of it. It won't have a chance to sort of bead or like seep through the tarp. I've got the bivvy anyway, so it's not the end of the world really. Could have taken a tent, and I thought, nah, do you know what? Let's take a punt and let's take the tarp and bivvy out for a change. Do something different. It keeps it varied. I want to start doing more shelters like this really. They are quite fun. They're just a git to do. And I've got my decathlon poles holding it all up. Got the main one here. Then we've got one over the back. Just a short section just to push the foot box up a little bit. These 2 little lanterns at the top here, these are made by Paul Stokes, who runs an eBay shop, I believe, called Treadlight Gear. I think he's from up north somewhere, I can't remember where exactly. Very ultra lightweight, like carbon fibre lanterns that you just hang in your tent, and all they are is like a little photon 2 LED light inside a bag with some tin foil at the bottom of it and a little Dyneema cord. I can't remember how much they cost me. I mean, I've got 2 of them. I swear I only bought 1, but I think it cost me around about £10, something like that. He makes all this stuff himself, and yeah, they weigh literally nothing, but they do, you know, light up the area fairly well. I switched the filming light out, and yeah, at night, you know, they'll give you enough sort of light just to sort of see by if you need to, I don't know, find something in the middle of the night really. But it might be better in a tent, who knows. So it's the first time I've taken them out, so I'm just testing them out really. Well, that was a loud bang. Yeah, so that's my setup anyway. Okay, Hambo's going to walk us through his little setup. Off you go, mate.
Right, I've got the Blade 100, and inside I have an old Coleman bamboosa sleeping bag, which is probably going to be very warm for me tonight, because I think it's a comfort rating of 0 on there, and we're well above that tonight.
Yeah.
That dates from about 1981. The little inflatable mat is a Trekology mat, which is fairly new. I bought that about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I've used that once before, but I don't really get on with mats anyway. I much sort of prefer sleeping on harder surfaces. And then under that I've just got like a little El Cheapo thermal and sort of foil and foam mat underneath that.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I think I'll be amply warm enough tonight.
It's a good little porch in it you've got as well.
Like it's all right, yeah.
And
it's nice.
You can open it on
there.
You can open it on 2 sides, can't you? Like either side or both sides, depending on which way the wind's blowing, which is quite cool. I did like that about the Vango Blade. In fact, I think a couple of Vango tents do that. It's good.
Yeah, and ultimately, if weather gets really, really bad, the footprint, I can unpeg it at the front and fold this back, and then just sort of cook in here if need be.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just enough room to do it.
It's great, and to think as well, I managed to squeeze me and Candice in one of these tents when we did Landguard Point, when we camped there. It was her first wild camp. She has fond memories of that tent. I sold it though to someone, to a subscriber, so enjoy that, mate. I did clean it, so yeah, enough said. A gentleman never tells. Yeah, cracking tent, and cheers to the setup, mate.
Cool.
It's good little run through. And yeah, so this is home for the night, people. Right, I'm starving. We definitely could both do with a drink, so we're gonna plonk our asses down and chill out for a bit. Okay, welcome back everyone. We've had some dinner. I had some chicken sausages with haricot beans and a tomato sauce from a British Army ration pack. It was actually really nice, giant sausages they were. And Hambo has had I know he's had a Wayfarer chocolate pudding. What was your main meal?
It was a chicken curry with rice.
Was it good?
Nice, yeah.
It was good. It sounded like he enjoyed it anyway. And once again, I'm going to address another elephant in the wood. I've changed my hat. As you can see, Tom Outdoors. This is a present from Hambo. He's just given me. As he's bestowed a lot of gifts on this camp, like he always does on our previous one. I've also got a Tom Outdoors 5,000 subscribers tin mug and the sunrise at Southwold on it. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, mate.
That's alright, mate.
So I'm proper Tom Outdoors up now, and you're going to be seeing these on future videos, definitely. The cider I'm drinking out of it was, once again, another little treat from Hambo. You're not grooming me, are you, for anything, though?
Oh, you suss me, Tom.
I know, like, the age difference of us, you know. No, I'm joking, yeah. He's brought along these HCC ciders. They're Hertfordshire Cider Company. I think I've had an HCC cider before. I had a really cheap one. And this one's strawberry and lime, 4%. I'd say this is probably the best strawberry and lime cider I've ever had. Drinking out of my new mug. And it's not overly sweet and sickly like a lot of strawberry and lime ciders. This one, it's just right, and I've got to review it. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's got a different taste to it, and I really like it. That's all I can say about it. So I'm going to give this
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's the best strawberry and lime cider I've ever had, and I would willingly drink it again. Then, what other ciders have we got? Oh, I've got a ginger pudding and ginger sauce for a little bit later on. This is it. We've got another HCC cider. This one's dark fruit, so we'll probably crack that open in a little bit. I've got an Adnams Wild Wave cider from Southwold, a Hawkes Urban Orchard cider, and yeah, you've seen those two ciders before on the channel. So that's all I was going to bring. Didn't know that Hambo had bought all of these ciders, and then he's also bought an entire 4-pack of Rosie's Pig Raspberry Roller ciders. And these I've had before. These are amazing. Raspberry juice and cucumber cloudy cider. Seriously good ciders. So yeah, Hambo's really spoiling us tonight with the drinks. The weather forecast is a bit touch and go at the moment. We don't really know what's going on with the rain, whether it's coming or going. The weather forecast keeps saying different things, so we're just going to assume that it's not going to be great. The firework displays are still going off. They've been quite loud actually, like really loud bangs. I'm gonna have my hot chocolate I think now and coffee before that gets too cold, and then have another cider. That's a sign of a good meal. Chat to you in a bit. Okay, it's time for the dark fruit HCC cider in the Tom Outdoors mug. Okay. Very fruity smell to it, like a Ribena sort of smell. Oh yeah, Hambo's right, it's got a little aftertaste to it. Is it as good as the strawberry and lime? Because that was good. It is really just like drinking fruit juice. These ciders, they're not strong, which is good. I like that. I typically like a lot of fat Essex bird drinks. You know, like something that tastes sweet and you kind of don't know that you're drinking alcohol. I do like those really. I'm not a fan of like really strong ciders, so these are just right. It's sweet, it's a little bit sickly. It doesn't score as highly as the strawberry and lime, but I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's still a good little cider, a good dark fruit cider that. One of the better ones. So yeah, so far HCC are onto a winner, really. Okay, I look completely mental, I know, but I'm in the Alpkit Hunka bivvy bag under the tarp now. It's so warm in here. I apologise, I've not filmed much or spoken much tonight. It's now gone 2 AM and me and Hambo have just been sat outside for literally hours drinking and chatting. I had the ginger pudding and ginger sauce ages ago, some peanut butter as well as that chicken, sausages and beans meal, and we've pretty much drunk all the ciders bar I think 2 of the Rosie's Pigs raspberry and cucumber ciders. Yeah, we've just got 2 of those left. We've done everything else. We've had a couple of hot drinks and the temperature's starting to drop, but the wind and the rain has just completely disappeared. Yeah, we've just chatted about everything, literally. It's been great fun. So Hambo's now in his tent. You warm?
Yeah, I'm okay. I haven't even got my sleeping bag yet. I'm boiling.
Brilliant. Oh yeah, no, it's just toasty. It's just so nice because the temperature was just starting to drop and we was just starting to feel that chill, and it's like, let's get some sleep now. I'm loving my Tom Outdoors hat, and I've been drinking out of my Tom Outdoors mug all night. That's going to be the cider review mug now. Loads of space under the tarp here. I'm over to one side, but I've got plenty of space to sit and get changed. I can cook under here, of course. I do like that about a tarp. It is good, the space it affords you and the simplicity of it at times. We've not seen or heard anyone. The firework display's finished ages ago. we better try and get some sleep really, because as I say, we've got to be up early and it's 2 o'clock already, so looking at about 5 hours sleep. So yeah, gonna hit the hay. Hopefully nothing eventful is going to happen. If not, I'll let you know. But yeah, until the morning, see you then. So good night. Night. Good morning everyone. It's coming up to 8 AM. Everything so far has gone according to plan. Weather forecast looks really good for today. Less than 10% chance of rain. It's really calm. So should be good conditions for the walk. I'm just outside on the footpath at the moment. I'm going to take you into camp shortly and we'll sort of see if the camouflage scrim netting works, how long it takes or how close we have to get before we can actually see the shelters. Not too sure if it's going to have worked yet, of course, because I don't really know what I'm doing with the stuff, but I can see the purpose of it. I can see how it could work. Whether it's going to work with this setup is a different matter, because like I said, I think I might have cut the pieces a bit too short, but never mind. I mean, I suppose I could tie them back together, or if the worst comes to worst, I'll bite the bullet and buy some more. But 6 meters by 1.5 meters doesn't actually give you that much, I've realised. You need quite a lot really with scrim netting, it seems. Anyway, we both slept reasonably well. I think I actually slept really well in a bivvy for once. I turned over a couple of times just where like my arms were going dead and stuff. The Fulcrum EV mat that I used, it's good, it's nice and thick, but I feel like I need a wider pad because like my arms and shoulders hang off the sides. So I might look to getting a wider mat possibly, but we'll see. I mean, it was still really comfy and I was toasty warm, so didn't even need to put my thermals on. I just basically wore what you see me in now, really. So let's take you into camp. Well, from the footpath here, just down from the Hillfort, which is just over there where I'm pointing in the middle of the screen, you can't actually see anything into the woods from the footpath, so we're completely out of sight from here, which is where, of course, if we're going to get spotted, it would be here. Just seen 2 female runners run up along the bank here
not on the footpath. I think there is a footpath there anyway, and they didn't see us, and I was actually just inside the tree line here and they didn't see me. So let's head in and see what we can sort of start to make out. Bear in mind, of course, we're actually looking for the shelters. If you was just someone casually walking or jogging by or cycling by, you wouldn't necessarily look in unless you had reason to. That's how I always think. So try and keep the camera straight, but the tripod keeps getting caught on the branches. So you know, I can just about make Hambo and his chair out there where I'm pointing, but we're still pretty well obscured. I mean, I think it's more the fact that we just bought the right coloured shelters with us. You know, if you had a bright orange tent or tarp, you'd stick out like a cock at a hen party. But and then there you can just about make out my tarp and Hambo's tent. In fact, Hambo's tent is probably more concealed than my tarp. And yeah, the scrim netting is stretched in front of it, but it's now from about here, what's that, 10 metres. Now you can of course see the shelters because they're silhouetted with the light from behind, but from the footpath you can't see us at all. I think it's because we're actually down a slight slope, so you can't quite see us. But either way, yeah, it feels a lot better knowing that we're kind of obscured from sight. It's coming up to 9 AM now. We've had breakfast and the weather is clear. We've seen a couple of people going across the footpath, across the field behind us. They've got their backs to us, so we've not been spotted. It's actually in quite a stealthy little location, this, despite being sort of surrounded by footpaths and stuff. And because of that, we've sort of stayed here a little bit longer than we expected to. We expected to start sort of moving about now, so we're not going to outstay our welcome. We're going to start getting packed up. We'll leave the scrim netting up last, just to sort of conceal us if it is concealing us, that is, and then we'll take that down at the end and head off. So yeah, won't show you that. Leave no trace. Enough talking, let's get walking. With a coat of paint, it's got potential. Alan! Caldecott, a medieval village, was also affected by the Black Death. Owned by St Albans Abbey, it was almost deserted by 1428 and abandoned in the late 16th century. Today's Caldecott comprises a restored moated manor house, a small abandoned church and a newer hamlet. The Black Death that ravaged Ashwell
may have fatally weakened nearby Caldecott. The manor house, church and a cottage incorporating the old rectory are all that remain.
Well, after getting a little bit lost, we've finally made it to Hinxworth, another lovely little village on this walk. We're outside the village pub, the Three Horseshoes. It's open. You know what that means. Enough thinking, let's get drinking.
We're on the footpath back to Ashwell now, not far to go, and in this field on our left here apparently is the remains of a moat, possibly an old moated farmhouse or manor house, like a semi-fortified structure. You probably can't really see it too much. There are some depressions in the ground. It looks like there's sort of a mound in the middle, so they've clearly not built on it or, you know, farmed it or anything, so it obviously must be a protected piece of land, like a scheduled ancient monument. It's been good, it's been a fun one this, and Hambo's been a right laugh. We've had a few good laughs and stuff. It's been nice relaxing one. As I say, only 6.5 miles apparently, according to the guidebook. I haven't done like a walk and a wild camp for a while, so I want to get back to doing more of these. They're always nice. Anyways, we'll probably see you back in Ashwell. It's Sandy! Wiltshire man's a bit lost. Well, we've made it back to Ashwell village. We're outside the pharmacy. The bells at the church are ringing, and that is the end of this video, the end of this walk, the end of this camp. It's been absolutely brilliant. Cheers, Hambo.
Thanks for inviting me again. Cheers, mate.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the presents as well.
That's alright.
You will be seeing them on future videos, that's for sure. It's been a really good little walk. We got lost a few times, but that kind of makes it more of an adventure, more fun. The camp was really good. Probably definitely, I think, use that scrim netting again. I think it did help break up sort of the outline of the shelters. And yeah, we've just had a really good laugh. It's been a nice, relaxing one. So until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, look after each other, and get out there and explore. Thank you for watching. See you again soon. Bye.
Cheers.